Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Critters. Yes, we've been doing this for several years. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, I go live right here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page, usually at 9 a.m. And unless I'm traveling or I have guest speakers from different parts of the country. And that would be Daphne coming up here very soon. Good morning, Daphne. Hey, Tim. Good morning, everybody. Happy Veterans Day, everyone. We are joining you live from Northwest Ohio, very cold Northwest Ohio, below freezing temps. Hey, Elaine. This morning you are joined, my co-hosts are yours truly, Rico. In the background, Rocky. We also have, let me move my coffee and everything around. We also have Milo, the pig, joining us this morning. Quincy. Right there's Quincy. You come up here. Come here. You come up here. Come on. You want to be on Coffee with the Critters? There you go. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Laura, good morning. Hi, baby. So every week I try to pick different animals that come out here with me. And some together, some by themselves. And that's on purpose, because one of the things we do here is we keep our animals used to change, which is going to be a big, what do you think? Yeah. It's a good portion of how we set up for success here at the Animal Behavior Center. Set the animals up for success and the people in their lives. Yeah, good morning. So for those that may not know me, my name is Laura Joseph. I'm the owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center where we teach people all over the world. We educate people on how to empower animals and their people through understanding applied behavior analysis and positive reinforcement. And we do. It's a Chucklehead Festival here this morning. What are you talking about, Rock? And we do that through. How in the hell did I get here? Huh? We do that through our live streaming services. That bird cracks me up. And ring your bell, Sam. Hello. Sam, our blind Amazon back there. Hello. There you go. Hello. He rings his bell in his ear and goes, hello. Hello, Sam. Oh, goodness. And there's Rico flying behind me. What's up, Rico? You got your wings on this morning? Come on back. Get back on the camera. Yes, you. Come here. There you go. Nice job. You going to go again? Go ahead. Attention as a reinforcer. Go ahead. Put your wings on. Let's see them. Whoa. Let me see. Let me see those wings. Coco. You want it? Go ahead. Hello. Hello, Sam. Is anybody else here laughing besides me? Oh, whatever that was, Rock. Oh, what joy. Anyways, does anybody else laugh? Hey, Florian. Does anybody else laugh about this besides me? I know that's right, Coco. I know he's mimicking my laugh. Anyways, did I already introduce myself? Coco. So, a peekaboo, wow, Rock. Yes, Coco. For anybody else that wants to find out more about what we do here at the Animal Behavior Center, you can find that on, good morning, Kim, our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. If anybody wants to reach me personally, I answer each and every one of my emails, and email is the best way to get a hold of me. And you can reach me at laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Okay, so come on. Hey, there's Therese. How can we not laugh? Yes. Hey, Ray. Hey, Julie, Jennifer, everybody. Yes, we've got so many things going on. And before I get started, I want to say a couple of different things. I'm dedicating this episode to my good friend Dana Robertson in Hawaii, who lost a very beloved pet this week. She bought me this mug several years ago. Her and I have been friends, very good friends, for many, many years. So anyways, this episode is dedicated to Dana Robertson and Ginger. Okay, something else I wanted to say, which, good night, Florian. Something else I wanted to say, my mother was here with me yesterday, and she always wants to come over here, and I was like, if you want to come over here, Missy, I'm putting you to work. So she was all about that, and I put her to work yesterday. We were walking around the center, and she was looking at all the different animals. We were out in the center with Snow, our deaf and blind border collie, and she was just watching Snow running around with the other dogs, Quincy and Levi, and she goes, I got to tell you something. That is one lucky dog. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'd call her lucky, but she's smart. And she goes, she landed here. That is one lucky dog. And she looked around. She's like, look at all of these animals. These animals are lucky. Some don't have it this lucky, or where they may end. So I didn't say anything. I just sat there and kind of watched, looked at all the animals. And I also told my mom yesterday, you know, one of my fears, boy, this has nothing to do with this. One of my fears is of living on the ocean, having that beautiful sight every day, but you see it every day and you forget to see that beautiful sight. Hello, Sam. Good morning. That has always been one of my biggest fears. And I told her, I said, you know, I have this big, beautiful center filled with all these awesome animals. And I remember when I purchased this center over 6 years ago, I thought I would never get tired of seeing this center and never forget to appreciate how beautiful it is every day I walk out here. And some days, I guess this does tie in with our topic, some days I get so stressed or so busy that I walk out here and I don't even see the center. But something I do want to say, the center is all aesthetic, all right? Something I never tire of seeing are the animals that reside in it. That is something I always appreciate every day. They're the first thing that on my mind when I wake up every morning, and they're usually the last thing on my mind when I go to sleep, and it doesn't end there. I'm usually dreaming about them. So last night I was having dreams about raptors eating animals along a river, and remember telling people, don't watch this. This isn't for everybody. I don't know. Oh, so anyways, yes, I always appreciate every day. And I always appreciate the fact every day that I can see. That has always been something. I don't know why I've always focused on it. I always appreciate that I can see, because I never want to come to a day where I don't wake up seeing that face, that lovely mug, or that cute little butt over there in the corner, or hearing that awesome sound in the ringing of the bell, or Quincy barking at, oh, she's right behind me. People are not allowed to walk across the street here, not even 3 blocks down, because she sits here and barks at you. But that's what she is. Oh, thanks, Therese. Says, keep doing live streams and we'll all be happy to remind you how beautiful it is what you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oops. And then there's that. Then there's Rocky. Okay. Hello, Sam. Sam's vocabulary is just skyrocketing. Oh, Karen Pratt, the manager here, she goes, or emailing me at 5:30 in the morning. Sorry. I try not, doesn't mean you need to respond to it at 5:30 in the morning. Hello. A couple of my sayings here are welcome to my funny farm. Another one is we're the land of misfit toys. So most of the animals here. You are just full of it today, Rod. So anyways, our topic, what was it supposed to be? Yeah, so our topic is, somebody remind me. Peekaboo, are your animals ready for the holidays? This is a time of year that can be, and I bring this up for a reason. It can be very stressful for many different people. And I know it's a time of stress for several of my family members. Yeah, that was just with a lot of my family members over the weekend. And one thing I kept saying repeatedly over the weekend is I will not let stress interfere with the holidays for me. Nothing. Whatever stresses me out about the holidays, I just get rid of it, okay? Because we all have control over our life, and we can determine what things we allow to stay stressful in our life. Sometimes we can't, but we can control how we approach them. So, yeah. I've always enjoyed the holidays. I love the holidays. I love the snow. Yes, and it snowed here 2 days ago, and I was in my glory. I love everything about Christmas, the reason, the season, the sounds, the sights, smells. Appreciate all those senses because some of the animals here don't have them. Those are all conditioned reinforcers for me. The smell of cinnamon, I smell that, it gets me in a good mood. Oh, Milo's over here itching his butt on the pen. They get me in a... Don't stop rubbing your tushy. They get me in a good mood. Those are conditioned reinforcers. Yeah, those are senses that are paired with this time of year that I've loved through the years. What are you talking about? Yes, you too, Pipsqueak. That I refuse to... that I refuse to let anything stand in the way of stressing me out. Yep. Peekaboo. There it is. Wait for it. Yeah, so as I get older, I'm 47, getting ready to turn 48. It seems like time is flying. And the older I get, the faster that time flies. I need it to slow down because I want to appreciate anything and everything around me. I appreciate life. Life is too short. I keep taking off my glasses and turning around because I'm slowly... What are you doing down there, Rico? Where'd you get that toy part? Okay. He's going to start showing off. Anyways, let's talk about what a happy place it is. Hey, Pat, it is a happy place. Yeah. So anyways, let's start talking about are your animals ready for the holidays? Because when do you start training for that? Probably about a couple months ago. Thanksgiving is in less than 2 weeks here in the United States. Christmas is coming up a month after that. And I know for the holidays, I know I will be having Christmas at my house. So I get all the animals here ready. And this is the importance that we say in keeping your animals used to change throughout the year. That can be, some people may say that that's tough. Well, some of the things we should keep in mind before we take animals into our care are how much time do we have to dedicate to them. And every day here, we do several things. We try to keep all the animals used to change. We try to keep environments changing. We try to keep people changing. We have total of 7 of us here. And we have different visitors that come throughout, and we do that on purpose. And we do that through whether we're, the kids visiting from the Autism Model School. Oh, Daphne says, the dogs are at the bottom of the totem pole and most are neglected during this season. So are a lot of exotics, okay? And we were talking about this in the workshop, Daphne, what was that, a month ago already? I put it into my presentation, and I think I even mentioned it in last week's Coffee with the Critters, which was some people don't like to use the word captive. Some people choose to use the words animals in managed care. Every animal here is pretty much both. They are cared for by me, my sole responsibility, and here's the difference. And we just mentioned this in a recent podcast. Even if there's 4 walls, the animal has limited choices. When you have 4 walls, and within those 4 walls, now you have 4 sides to a cage. We were talking about how I give up. Show's yours. Take it away, Rock. Now there's silence. Not for long. Studies show that animals in managed care lack problem-solving opportunities, okay? And this is a lot of reason why I say work isn't a 4-letter word. Give your animals a job to do. Give them a job to do, okay? When you give them jobs to do, it helps take their focus off of what's necessarily going on around them and what's happening right in front of them. And the more choice you provide to them, the more sense of control they have. Yeah, that's, I know that from everyday experience. I also know that through a lot of the studies that I do. So in our membership program here, we have 2 podcasts from last Christmas season, the holiday season. I remember I put up 2 podcasts on how to prepare your animals for the holidays. Each podcast is an hour long, and it's full of tips and tricks and things that we do here. Peekaboo, that's why I'm so big into the 3 things we focus on here are animal behavior, animal training, and animal enrichment, because all 3 of them go hand in hand together. Part of every behavior modification plan here involves enrichment. Part of every behavior modification plan here involves training. And our focus is on teaching people how to use or integrate applied behavior analysis into everyday life with their animals, whether it's coexisting, more hands-on training. Some of the training we do here is off contact. Some animals don't like to be touched. Some of the animal training we do here is protective contact, meaning there's bars or some type of protection between us. Many times, because of the strength of positive reinforcement training and approaches in applied behavior analysis, those cage bars can come down because now you've built that strong foundation relationship with the animal based on consequences. And those consequences are within the animal's control and usually build a very strong foundation for trust. And you'll see that some of the animals that turns into full-blown contact. There's no need for protection anymore or under certain circumstances. And a lot of times I tell people with some of the animals we train here in the beginning, if we're lucky, we can use food as a reinforcer. Some of the animals, proximity is an aversive. Just the sight of a person can be an aversive, something the animal doesn't like, could send the animal, it's too stressful for the animal. I know if Laura's still on here, she's probably sitting there agreeing with me because she's the director of operations for a wildlife rehabilitation center here in Northwest Ohio called Nature's Nursery in White House. A lot of times when you first start training, the only thing I have is food as a reinforcer. But what I see is the more I consistently pair myself with the animal's preferred reinforcers, such as food, pretty soon the opportunity to be with me, engage with me, becomes the reinforcer. Anybody on here want to come on live with me? Everybody's laying in bed probably going, heck no. I'm the only one up at this time of day, I'm sure. Well, at least fully dressed. Yeah, there's Laura. She says, absolutely. So, and I always tell people, you really want to fine tune your training skills? Laura knows what I'm getting ready to say. Train a injured, non-releasable raptor, obviously through your local wildlife rehabilitation center. They are usually animals that don't prefer socialization except for maybe one time per year, and that's with their own species, and they want nothing to do with you. So let's discuss different things that bring about stress throughout the holidays. Think about it. If our animals are not used to strangers coming into the house, into the organization, whatever, having just one unfamiliar person. Hey, thanks, Kim. Totally agree. I take it you're in raptor rehab or education or wildlife rehab. Just the sight of one new person could be a big stressor, okay? That can be a big stressor for your dog, your domestic, your dog, whether you have exotics, your cats. It can be a big stressor for exotic prey. Because if they're not used to it, yep, Carrie says new people. And then think about it over the holidays. Now you're having an influx of new people. And not only is it new people that the animals aren't familiar with, it could be children. It could be children. It could be men with beards or people with long black leather jackets, anything like that they're not familiar with could be a stressor. I know here at the workshop, I told everybody, the dogs are not used to, this is their playground. On the other side of this camera, there's 10,000 square feet of enclosed space with banana plants and grass. The dogs, the pig, the parrots, the vulture, They're used to that with these different animals, with the changing volunteers, but they're not used to 50 people coming in at once. At the workshop, that's right, Rock, I had to shape this large group of people coming in. And Sandy, another volunteer here, and she took one dog, our Levi, our deaf dog, while I took Quincy, the Rottweiler. Quincy's a guard dog. I trained her to guard this facility, and she does it beautifully. I'm going to get to some of your questions. I had to shape the behavior, or I had to shape and reinforce. Shape meaning reinforcing in small approximations at Quincy's level, comfort level. All right, Rock. And then all the while, I'm watching Sandy and Levi, how they're responding. Sandy's watching me and Quincy, because Quincy, our Rottweiler, is going to feed off of Levi's reactions. Levi's going to feed off of Quincy's. Quincy's going to feed off of mine. Levi's going to feed off of Sandy's. So those are all environmental events. I am paying attention, watching everything that's happening. Don't forget to reinforce calm. And what we did is we stood out in the center and we let one person walk in at a time. One person, and we would bridge and reinforce. And we did that in a large environment. So we started with a large environment, slowly brought in the people until they got used to one person, then another person was added, then another, and then there was 20 of us. And then the 20 people started moving around into different rooms, and I started walking Quincy into the different rooms as she could watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people walk in. By the second day, she's like golden. But I had to be able to keep control of her, and I do that through training. All right? If I see a situation, I make it so I can call her out of it. And I do that throughout the year. Looking back on some of the things you guys are saying, friends and family to us, scary to the critters, especially loud, fast-moving kids. That's another one, kids. Daphne says, energy levels, change in routine, change in environment, unfamiliar and stupid human behavior. Yeah, and that's one thing. We do have schedules here, but we try not to stick to routines. Certain things are very predictable, say to Sam, our fully flighted blind parrot. But over time, I'm going to start changing those up, because when a routine is broken, it can be very stressful to an animal. I want to touch on some of the other things you're saying. What Aisha says, what about parrots in their cages? How often do you change out their cage and rearrange their toys? Should we also rearrange their perches as well? Aisha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Very good question. Hey, MD, I know I've been in touch with you before. Good to have you on here. So let's address Aisha's question. Okay, you want to intensify behavior issues or behavior concerns. You can work with the unsocialized. You can working with the fearful, working with prey. Working with prey that are in cages and unable to get out. Did I talk to you guys about, I went to the FDSA camp that was here in Ohio over the summer, and I'm sitting there watching, and I'm used to working with exotics of all different types of exotics, alligators, giraffes, primates, parrots. I do work with dogs, but I like to focus on exotics. Anyways, I'm sitting there watching, and I'm watching around how everybody are handling their dogs, dogs being in crates, people approaching or not approaching that crate. You do not want to approach Quincy in a crate. Quincy is my Rottweiler, my 100-pound Rottweiler. You approach her in a crate, she is in a very vulnerable position with limited choices. So I know that. I love the great relationship I have with my dog. So what I will do when you walk into my house is I will keep control of you to a certain extent. If you get out of my control, then I just kick you out of my house. Because here's what happens at the holidays. You guys, everybody, your visitors get to go home. You have to stay now and work through the behavior concerns. But what I was talking about at FDSA is I was watching one of the instructors saying, cover your dog's crate. Your dog is in a very vulnerable position. It may be stressed. Cover the crate to eliminate some of the overstimulation from the sights. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're saying this about a dog in a crate. Yet, and I agreed with her. And I'm sitting there, but it made me think about parrots in cages at homes, okay? Especially over the holidays. What do people do? I was going to give you an example if I had a bird on a perch. What do people do? They're usually enclosures a lot smaller than this. I'll give you an example with Suki, okay? This is what people do. They come up here and tower over this small cage. Oh, what a cute little bird. Oh, don't you lunge at me. Oh, what did you take out of here? The bird has little choice. If its cage is large enough for it to fly away, it does, but then the people usually move around it. So Aisha, and this is not just for birds, but for all animals. How often, these are loaded questions, but great ones. How often do you change out their cage and rearrange their toys? This can be addressed to all animals. I do it at the animal's pace. The less, I mean, obviously you guys know that parrots live very long. They have the capability of living very long. The importance of that is they may come to us with 25 years of a previous history. That's called a history reinforcement. You have 25 years of counter conditioning to do. But it doesn't mean it can't be done. You can teach an old dog new tricks. We do it here every day. Coco's going to be 30 on Monday. And look how far we have come with him in 2 years. Look how far we have come with Sam in 2 months. So with all animals, how often should you create change within their environment? That depends on the animal. That depends on the stress level of the animal. But I keep them used to change by changing their environment, and I can change their environment through where their cage is located, what times of day they're in or out, what they're fed, the foraging toys within, the type of training we do. You can get, just like with enrichment and toys, you can get stuck with the same old redundant toys. If the animal is not interacting with that piece of enrichment, it's not an enrichment. It's an object in the way. Get it out, change it out, shape behavior, shape and boost confidence through understanding the animal's behavior, their body language, okay? Here, with all the animals, but with birds, I tell the volunteers here, I like 1 perch change per cage per week. Okay? And just keep those perches moving. The smaller cages you have, turn them 90 degrees once a day, as long as the animal's comfortable. Because you don't have to change the perches. Those placements all just changed within the matter of 2.5 seconds. Yeah, so hopefully I've touched on that, Aisha. I'm just going to scroll through. Yes, so something else that can be very scary this time of year is flashing lights, glitter on the trees, what have you. This will be our 3rd Christmas with Snow, our deaf and blind border collie. Snow has no eye in one socket and a partially formed eye in the other. I love working with exotics and special needs for many reasons, because I can empower them, and the special needs help me learn finer detail. okay? This may work for one animal, but this animal cannot see or hear you. How are you going to approach? Because you're going to scare the crap out of it. You have the potential. I just did that with Sam, our blind bird, yesterday. I don't want to make that mistake again, okay? Because then it's paired with me. Then I'm poisoning the cue. I'm poisoning my training. I'm pairing myself with an aversive. But with Snow, she has a partially developed one eye. I can see the pupil. Her eye is flat. And when I look at her really close, her eye bounces back and forth like this. She cannot see what she can tell if it's completely dark in a room and a light goes on. She can tell if you're standing out in the sunlight and a shadow passes right in front of her. She usually ducks like this, but then she'll turn around and run into a wall. So, but I was thinking about this the other day because I'm getting ready to put up my tree. I've been listening to Christmas music for 2 days now. It makes me happy. So it is going to happen. If I'm happy, everybody's happy. If I'm not happy, nobody's happy. And I don't like to be like that. I'm a very happy person. I like everybody to be happy. So I was thinking the other day, I'm going to put up my tree probably this week or Thanksgiving weekend. When I put up all those lights on the tree, Snow's going to be able to tell at night that there is a light coming from a different corner, or from a corner of a room, a different light coming from a corner of the room. I have to get her ready for that, or I'm going to come home from dinner with a Christmas tree on the floor. Okay, so I have to prepare her for that. I'm just looking through your comments real quick so I can touch on things. Hey, Susie, good morning. Melissa says, what about medical special needs? How do you teach an old dog new tricks that are for everyone's own good if you know some of the undesirable issues may not be totally in their control and that may never change? That is a fabulous question, Melissa. I know several people in here are in level 1. And let me just touch on this real quick. Level 1, our level 1 online membership program, is for people that want to learn more with companion animals. Melissa, are you watching the target training activity we have going on right now in level 1? This is to set everybody up for success for the holidays. What we're doing is teaching a target, and then we're adding a level of complexity onto a target. So you ask, how do you teach an old dog new tricks? Should I teach one real quick? One of the first things I teach any animal, and this was in the podcast. For those of you who are in level 1 and level 2, go back to last year and listen to those podcasts on preparing your animals for the holidays. Because one of the several things I suggested was train something really easy, really small for your animal. Okay, and then how you keep control over the people, when your visitors come in, how you keep control over the people is inform them before they come. Number 1, say, hey, we're working on some behavior concerns. You can make it sound worse than what it is, because usually the worse it is, or if you tell a consequence, that's how I control behavior. That's how I can control my family. I don't know if any of them are watching. What are you doing, silly? What you can do is, and she's like, somebody train me. Will you train me? What you can do is tell them what you're trying to do before, instruct them, and then you train something and show them how to train it. I did this with Milo, the mini pig, in the kitchen during the holidays. And I talk about that in the podcast. What I don't want people doing is approaching the animal when the animal's not comfortable. So you can introduce yourself to an animal through training. We do it here all the time. We have people introduce themselves to the animals. And we do that through something as simple as, I don't want to lose sight of, something as simple as, this is why one of Rico's stations is right here. And then every time he sees a new person come in, he knows that if he says hi, the person has to hand him a treat. We tell that to the people on the other side of the door before they come in. This is called a continuous schedule reinforcement. We don't tell them all the science of behavior we're using on them, but this person walks in the door, they're either going to be a conditioned reinforcer or a conditioned punisher, or the animal's just not going to pay attention to them. So Rico Prey in an enclosure, in a building, in an enclosure with limited choices, now has control over his environment. You walk in the door, he says hi, you reinforce. If you don't reinforce, I'm going to tell you to reinforce. If you still don't reinforce, I'm going to reinforce, and then I'm going to manipulate the environment to move you on the other side of that door. What? Did you just say hi? Yes. So Melissa, does that make sense? But I want to, okay, I'm going to get back to Melissa's question. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Our oldest dog here is 5.5, but our oldest bird here is going to be 30, and we've only had him for 2 years. So pretend this is a dog, I guess. This is what we did with our feathered dog named Coco, who is going to be 30 on Monday. When I first started training, well, the first thing I did was stick a camera on him and watch him all night so I could better read and understand his behaviors. Let me see if I can take him out. So what you'll want to do with each new person, as long as the dog's comfortable, is just have the new people just hand treats. Do not pet my dog. Do not touch my dog. Just hand it treats, if that's what you want people doing. Some people, like my dog on the street, when we greet you, I don't want you touching my dog. I don't want you handing in my dogs any treats, because you're training my dog something completely different. Okay. 30 years old. Good. This is how I introduce myself. Protective. Actually, it's off contact training. All I did when I started with Coco, after I took a few days to observe him, just sit here and hand treats. Okay. And then, Melissa, you can do something like this. This is one of the first things we taught him, to one station only. And we taught him here. Good. We taught him. You can do this with your dog. Good. Because if he's there, then the next thing we did was shape. Can you guys see this? Shape getting in the cage. And I'm going to get back to your question. Go. So he's calling for you. Reinforce it. If I can keep him there. Good. And now the recall over here. Good. Here. Good. Here. redirecting his attention at the end of the training session. Since studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. Depending on the type of animal you're working with, they don't want that training session to end, so you can accidentally or unknowingly reinforce aggression by just walking away from a training session. Okay, so that my point in showing you that, Melissa, was this is a 30-year-old animal. This is what we've done. Now, did you notice I'm handing him treats through the cage bars? Once I get into the cage bars, I am no longer handing him treats. They're sitting next to him because hands in close proximity at a faster pace can reinforce a bite. So with a dog, with an older dog, and this is one of the first things I'll do with any animal, is teach it a target. When you're teaching a target, just means touch your nose to an object. As soon as we're done here, I've got to finish my activity in level 1, which is teaching Quincy to push a chair across the room. Karine, what I was using with Coco was pine nuts. But with a dog, I teach a target. I was doing recall with Coco. Same thing with your dog. Just do something like this. Sorry, maybe loud for a second. Let me grab some treats with Quincy. Quincy's like, yes, finally, train me. Okay, start with beginning recall and target training. Teaching a dog to sit is target training. I want your butt cheeks on the floor. You can do things, beginning training, Melissa, with your older dog. We're doing this with level 1 right now. It's going to get loud, guys. Sit. Sit. Okay? If I want her to go away and come back to me, let's say I'm just going to ask a behavior. Touch. Good. I'm going to reinforce over there. So if I want her constantly staying on my side when she comes back, good. Reinforce. Touch. Good. I want her to come back to me. Very pretty, Rocky. Good. Sit. Good. Shape distance. Stay. If you can start by shaping distance, just take 1 foot. Good. Force. Good. Good. Go back and reinforce. Good. I do this with our deaf dog. I need to reinforce eye contact. I want you looking at me in strange environments and strange people around. Come here, Quince, I'm sorry. Teach a target. We're doing this in level 1 right now, Melissa. The importance of teaching a target. Where to begin, okay? My treats are all right here, right? When I first start teaching a target, let's just teach a new target. Something she doesn't know, okay? I want her touching her nose to the roll of paper towels. She knows the word T-O-U-C-H, and she knows that when I present something, it usually means touch it. So let's have it sit right here. Good. 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 Okay, she just touched it. Good. She actually touched my finger. Good. Okay, now, Melissa, are you still here with me? You can, I'm trying to think of really easy things to teach an older dog. Just reinforce staying by your side. Let me show you. And once you do that, that would be a great one to teach for the holidays. Stay by my side. Because if you are by my side, I can give you cues what to do next. Such as, let's just do this. I have not trained this with Quincy. I do this with Snow, our deaf and blind dog. Quincy, you're not counter surfing right on Coffee with Cricket, are you? She's like, no, but you're right there. Okay, start, Melissa, with teaching the animal to just follow you. Once the animal's following you, you can now give it cues what to start going next. So I'm gonna keep my treats in my left-hand pocket. Good. She's waiting for me to give her another cue. Let's see. Let's make sure you guys can see this, all right? Good. So I need to catch her before she sits down. Quincy, over here? Okay. Good. 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 Watch how my spacing starts getting further. Good. 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 Sorry, I screwed up there a bit. Good job, Quincy. You start teaching an animal to follow you, you now have the opportunity to cue them what to do next. Melissa, teach a nose target. Put your nose to my hand. Just like Quincy already knows that, so I was trying to shape something new. But Quincy is also going to make it look a lot easier because she's used to being trained. She's used to looking at me for information. She's used to that. Makes sense? Okay, Jill, one of my birds goes for my finger instead of the treat. Then your bird is not comfortable. Okay? That lunge, that bite, whatever, that growl happens for a reason. If I hear Quincy growl, which I did last week, whoa, I'm not going to scold Quincy for that. I am just what just happened in the environment. So then, Melissa, one of the things I talk about is if you can show, one of the things we did with Milo, thinking if you guys want me to do some pig training real quick, I can show you. One of the things we did with Milo, Milo spends a lot of time in our kitchen. Where does everybody gather over the holidays? All right. And I was just like, all right. So I'm thinking about this before. I was like, Milo is going to, peekaboo yourself, going to get very overwhelmed. And that overwhelming an animal can result in disaster for everybody, causing any type of behaviors labeled as aggressive to increase. A lot of aggressive behaviors come about out of fear. You take a prey animal, this is a pig, it has eyes on both sides of its head. It's restricted. They're anatomically funky animals, okay? They can only lift their head so high. Where is everybody? Towering above the pig, okay? This is your dog, too. This is your bird in a cage where people are looking down on it. Animals that aren't used to strangers, this is fear. Hi, Pipsqueak. This is fear, and a fearful animal can be a very dangerous animal. And once they learn that a certain behavior they give brings about a desired consequence for the animal, the more likely they're going to do it again. If the growl gets you to remove your hand, if that lunge gets you to remove your hand, if that head swipe from the pig gets you to remove your hand, then it works. It showed it has worked, and the animal is likely to give it again. One thing we did with Milo was I taught him to station and target. I want your butt cheeks hitting the corner of that wall. face me, but hit the corner of that wall. And when you do, Cheerios fall from the sky. I taught him that before my visitors came over. Then I set the environment up for success. I put a bowl of Cheerios on the bar in the kitchen, making it so easy for me to target my customer's hands to that bowl to get him to station. Everybody thought that was the coolest thing, that the pig would, when you said station, would run over and stick his butt cheeks to a corner. And that is how I kept control over my visitors. And my pig weighed 5 more pounds the next day, but I didn't have any behavior issues I needed to change. Obviously, this live stream is not long enough, but let me show you. I use applied behavior analysis on people and animals. Let me show you what I did with Milo. Teach him to station. You know what you can do, Melissa? Teach your dog to station on a bed where you want him to be far away from people. And then once he is, get your visitors to continue to have him stationing on that bed. Quincy, just for safe precaution, why don't we? So, see Milo's movemts and you hear his vocalization? That all means something, and I'm paying attention to what's going on in his environment to make sure I know what it means. Okay? This is common with a lot of zoo animals. They stand at doors because when do keepers approach? When it's time to feed. I can't have my animals standing at doors because if they get out, there could be a catastrophe happening on the other edge. So what I do is I teach them to ONYOURBED. That is his cue, okay? And this is like him stationing his butt cheeks in the corner. On your bed. Good. Differential reinforcement of an incompatible behavior. He cannot come out the door if he's stationing on his bed. Good. Good. So let's get, oops, I just tossed it underneath the bed. Let's get specific. I'm going to try to teach him to station his butt. Good. In that corner where I just threw the Cheerio, right there. Good. He's gonna find the Cheerio. Good. This is something he knows on your bed, but he doesn't know his butt in that corner. Good. Size. For those of you in the membership, size, you know what that means? It's disc. Good. Hi, Sandy. Must be 10 o'clock. Good. Okay. Good check. Good. I didn't want to. Too lazy to put them all away. Does that make sense? So I know it's 10 o'clock, that hour has flown, but let me tell you this. I have a blog post, or I'll put out another newsletter on the top 10 things to train for the holidays, or that every animal should know. For those of you that are interested in more live stream online learning, we have our level 1 membership that is for people with companion animals. Level 2 for people that are more interested in, it's professionals but not limited to. We have a wide variety of minds in there. But people interested in working in the animal field, We just finished our book review last week. Something to pay attention to. We have webinars we're getting ready to live stream. This is one of our next ones, preparing your birds for flight and recall. Those of you that are in the Parrot Project, all live stream parrot related webinars are at no charge. We have one coming up the beginning of December. This is understanding behavior. It'll go into identifying reinforcers, aversives, intermittent schedules of reinforcement, how to change behavior. That is the beginning of December. All live streamed behavior webinars are free to level 1. All live streamed webinars are free, all of them, of any topic, are free to level 2. If you guys haven't noticed, we do want your vote. We're going to come out with a mug for Sam for the holidays. And here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page, we're asking you to vote for which one. Those of you that are interested in having me speak at your organization, I can come to you individually, or we can teleconference it. Pay attention to our newsletter. If you sign up here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page, if you look to your left, you'll see it there. I'm probably going to put one out this week. And here's the services we have to offer beyond our webinars. Level 1, Level 2, the Parrot Project, and the Pig Project. If you're interested in species-specific, Parrot Project is for you. The Pig Project is for you. Very popular. And there you go. 2 minutes over. All right. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to email me. You can email me. If you go to our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, you'll find a contact button, and there's my email address. All right. I'm not sure if we're going to have coffee with the critters next week because I will be out of town again, hopefully live streaming for those of you in some of the projects and memberships. All right. Thanks, Jill, for the necklace. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will see you very soon.